Thank you, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jagati Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari. Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Sarjanarandana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Sarjanarandana Jaya Yamunitiravanachari Jaya Kunjabihari Yamunitiravanachari Jaya Kunjabihari Jaya Kunjabihari Rama Rama Madhava Jaya Kunjabihari Madhava Jaya Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Jaya Radha Gidhari Radha Gidhari Radha Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Bala Jaya Jaya Subhadra Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jai Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Gurudev Jaya Shabbat Paramahansa Parivakacharya Subrasa Sassinadi is loving Divine Gesha Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai ISKCON Vivadi Furniture Srila Prabhupada ki Jai ISKCON Guru Vinche Shri Radha Gidhari Gautai Jagannath Bala Subhadra Giraj Maharaj ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Srimad Prabhupada Lila Mitra ki Jai. So I was saying thank you very much for joining. So we'll read from Srimad Prabhupada Lila Mitra. Abhichandra Prabhu, you can share. Thank you so much. Reading from Srimad Prabhupada Lila Mitra. This is Mumbai Pastimes. November 25th, 1972. Although Prabhupada had come to Bombay with hopes of finishing the land transaction, Mr. N was still delaying despite the new agreement. Obviously, his tolling was simply part of his plan to cheat ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada waited many days in Mumbai, finally departing for Pandal program in Ahmedabad. He left behind instructions for his disciple to get the deed on the new terms, or else take back the original 2 lakh of rupees paid as the down payment. While Srila Prabhupada was away, however, Shyamasundar Tamal Krishna Goswami and the others began talking about how even if they could one day get the deed to the Jew property to develop Hare Krishna land, the way Prabhupada had envisioned would be practically impossible. Shyamasundar argued that even if they got the land, how could they really expect to build a big temple and hotel out here in the jungle? It's just spoon work. Meanwhile, from Ahmedabad, Prabhupada continued to wage his Mumbai campaigns, and he requested Mr. N and Mr. D to come to Ahmedabad to try and make a settlement. They declined. In Mumbai, the devotees learned that if they wanted to get back their down payment as, as well as the money they had deposited towards the 5 lakh gain tax, then they would have to cancel the new agreement. They were confused and their time was running out. One morning, one of Prabhupada disciples, Vishaka Devi Dasi, arrived in Ahmedabad from Mumbai. Prabhupada called for her and told her to return to Mumbai immediately with the message. Out of concern for his leaders in Mumbai, not to make a wrong decision and decide to relinquish the land. He told her to tell them that they should not, under any circumstances, cancel the agreement with Mr. M. Actually, he said this is not a woman's job, but everyone else here is either engaged in the pandal or had not been with us long enough to do this task. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This is a very important battle to acquire the jewel land, and this is very, very well described by Giriraj Maharaj in one of his books, How You Got Back the Land, How to Build a Temple. So Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you again for joining this morning, and please accept my humble obeisances, and please bless me that I can say something valuable in line with the cyclic succession on these two verses we're going to discuss today. And just a bit of a disclaimer that although I'm not very qualified, I'm doing this as a service and for my own purification. So excuse any shortcomings in discussing things. Thank you so much. So we'd like to discuss this verse. We can share the verse first today. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatirmidasya Jnananjana Salakaya. Takshurmitaminai Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Avichan Prabhu, please share the text. Shri Chaitanya Om Jnanatirmidasya Jnananjana Salakaya. Takshurmitaminai Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manabhistam Sapitamena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamahayam Dadati Sa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Guru Nuvisham Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savabhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopesakanta Radhakanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhavinda Vaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Paramami Hari Priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Jai Shri Krishna Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kipasindhubhyavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gatadar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So today's verse is in a form of a prose, and it's pretty some of the words are pretty long. So I'll try and just recite the Sanskrit. Then we can look at the synonyms. Then we will go after this. We'll go to the next verse, which is 24. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 24. The chapter is headed The Subterranean Heavenly Planets. Today's verses 23 and 24. So 23. Yattad Bhagavata Anadikatha Anya Upayena Yancha Chalena Partata Sa Sarirava Se Sita Loka Tayo Varuna पाशयश्च सम्प्रति मुक्तो गिरिधार्यं जपा विदत iti hovacha. Anybody like to try this verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I am fine.
Thank you very much.
Jattat bhagavataan adhigacchanta upayena yancha chalena aparhita sasharira veshita lokotrayo boruna pashoischa samprati mukta giridaryam chapaviddha iti hovacha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hello, Pramada, you go ahead.
Yatyad bhagavata anadhigatanyapayena jatya chalena aparita swasharira avasheshita lokatrayo boruna pashaischa samprati mukto giridaryam chapaviddha iti hovacha. Hare Krishna.
Oh, so well recited all this. Thank you so much. We'll go to the synonyms. Yet, which, that Bhagavata, by the Supreme Person of Godhead, Anadigata Anya Upayena, who is not perceived by other means, Yanchachalena, by the trick of begging, Apartha, taken away, Swasarira Avasita, with only his body remaining, Lokatraya, the three worlds, Varuna per se, by the rose of Varuna, Cha, and Sampratimukha, completely bound, Giridharyam, in a cave in a mountain, Cha, or and Apavidaha, being detained, Iti, thus, Ha, indeed, Vacha. Anybody would like to do the translation, please?
May I, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Now,
Krishna. Go ahead, sir. Very good.
translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead could see no other means of taking everything away from Bali Maharaj, he adopted the trick of begging from him and took away all the three worlds. Thus only his body was left, but the Lord was still not satisfied. He arrested Bali Maharaj, bound him with the ropes of Barun, and threw him in a cave in a mountain. Nevertheless, although all his property was taken and he was thrown into a cave, Bali Maharaj was such a great devotee that he spoke as follows. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so we'll go to, there's no purport in this verse. So we'll go to verse 24. Verse 24. Nunam Bhatayam Bhagavan Athesu Nanasito Yo Avad Indro Yassa Sachivo Mantraya Vrata Ekantro Brahspatistam Atihaya Swayam Upendra and Atmanamam Ayanchatamandas Jasiso na ivatat adasham ati gambira vayasa kalyasa manvantara parivritam kiyam lokatayam idam. Anybody would like to try? Thank you.
Hare
May I,
Krishna. Okay, Mataji, please continue.
sorry, Prabhuji, thank you. Nunam batayam bhagavan arthe suna Nishnato yo asava indro yashya sachivo mantraya vrita ekantato brahaspatistam athihaya swayam upendrena atmanam achaya ayachat atmanas chashisho naeva tat dasyamati gambhiravashya kalasya manvantar parivritam kiyal lokatrayam idam. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much. Thank you. Anybody would like to do the
Hare
synonym?
Krishna Prabhuji, I am also.
Okay, sure.
Nuna batayam bhagavan arteshu na nishnato yogo ashabindra yasya sachivo mantraya brita ekantato brihaspatis tam otihaya swayam upendrena atmanam ayacha atmanas chashisho noiva তদ্দাস্যম অতি গম্ভীর বয়সঃ কালস্য মন্বন্তর পরিবৃত্তম কিয়ল্লোকত্রয়মিদম। হরে কৃষ্ণ।
So nice. We would like to go through the synonyms. Anybody would like to do the synonyms? Okay, I'll do the synonyms. Nunam, certainly, Bhata, alas, ayam, this Bhagavan, Bhagavan, very learned, Arthesu in self-interest, na, not, ni, nisnatha, very experienced, ya, who, so, the king of heaven, Indra, Yasha, of who, Sachiva, the prime minister, Mantraya, for giving instruction, Vrita, chosen, Ekanta, alone, Braspati, learned Braspati, Tam, him, Atihaya, ignoring, Sayam, personally, Upendra, by means of Upendra, Lord Vamandev, Atmana, myself, Aya Chata, requested, Atmana, for himself, Cha, and Asita, blessings, the three world, no, not, Eva, certainly, that the Shyam, the loving service of the Lord, Ati, very, Gambira was Vayasa, having an insurmountable duration, Kalyasha, of time, Manvantra Parivartam, change by the end of a life of Manu. Kiyat, what is the value? Loka Trayam, three world, Idam, this. Translation covered by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anybody would like to do the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead, Mati.
Translation. Alas, how pitiable it is for Indra, the king of heaven, that although he is very learned and powerful, and although he chose Brihaspati as his prime minister to instruct him, he is completely ignorant concerning spiritual advancement. Brihaspati is also unintelligent because he did not properly instruct his disciple Indra. Lord Vamandev was standing at Indra's door, but King Indra, instead of begging him for an opportunity to render transcendental loving service, engaged him in asking me for alms to gain the three worlds for his sense gratification. Sovereignty over the three worlds is very insignificant because whatever material opulence one may possess lasts only for an age of mono, which is but a tiny fraction of endless time. Hare Krishna.
So thank you so much, Mati. Anybody would like to do the purport?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Shamati, go ahead.
Thank you. Bali Maharaj was so powerful that he fought with Indra and took possession of the three worlds. Indra was certainly very advanced in knowledge. But instead of asking Vamandev for engagement in his service, he used the Lord to beg for material possessions that would be finished at the end of one age of Manu. An age of Manu, which is the duration of Manu's life, is calculated to last 22 yugas. One yug consists of 4,300,000 years, and therefore the duration of Manu's life is 309,600,000 years. The demigod possesses their material opulence only until the end of the life of Manu. Time is insurmountable. The time one is allotted, even if it be a million of years, is quickly gone. The demigods own their material possessions only within the limits of time. Therefore, Bali Maharaj lamented that although Indra was very learned, he did not know how to use his intelligence properly. For instead of asking Vamandev to allow him to engage in his service, Indra used him to beg Bali Maharaj for material wealth. Although Indra was learned and his prime minister, Brihaspati was also learned. Neither of them begged to be able to render loving service to Lord Vamandev. Therefore, Bali Maharaj lamented for Indra. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for reading all the nice purport. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shamad Sama Krishna Goswami Tinami. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shamad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinami. Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pshani Nimishesha Shunyavadi Prashyatadi Satani. Narayana Namaskatam Naram Cheva Narotanam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayadayasa. Nastaprayasu Vadrasu Nityam Bhagavad Seva Bhagavati Uttam Sloge Bhakti Bhavati Hitaki. Let's read the translation of these two verses, very important before we start Bhagavatam. Says Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayat Indriyat. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respect to all obeisances unto the personal Godhead Narayan, and to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Sri Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayaso bhadresu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttam sloke bhaktir bhavati naistaki. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental song, is established as an irrevocable fact. So, Prabhupada ke Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So today, as I mentioned in the beginning of the class, we're going to discuss verses 23 and 24 from the chapter 24 of the fifth canto. So this chapter is headed the subterranean heavenly planets. So we have been discussing the different position of the planetary system, the upper seven, and on Earth and the lower planetary system. And here today we are discussing how Bali Maharaj got cheated or tricked into giving all his position to Lord Vamandev and then interacted to Lord Indra. So just a bit of recap. As it says in the previous verses, mentioned that 70,000 yojanas below Earth are this lower planetary system, starting with Atala, and then Vitala, Sutala, etc. And demons and Rakshasas live in these planets with their wives and children. The amazing point about this is that it's called Bila Swaraga, because it's very, although it's in a lower planet, it's below the Earth, these planets have amazing opulences and very high standard of sense, a very high standard for sense gratification. It's mentioned in the previous verses, we saw that although there is no sunshine, because the sunshine doesn't reach this lower planetary system, but it's illuminated very brightly by the jewels fixed upon the heads of the snakes. And there is hardly any old age or disease, and no one is afraid of death. But when the time factor, Kala Chakra enters, then they are all the sense gratification tendencies are diminished or destroyed. And below the Vitala planet is the Sutala planet, which is the abode of Bali Maharaj. In verses 18 onwards, Bali Maharaj, who resides in Sutala, the narration of Bali Maharaj is given in brief. Already Bali Maharaj pastimes is very elaborately described in detail in Canto 8. Here, because this is the canto we describe the planetary system, Sri Vyasadeva, on the request of Parikshit Maharaj, is describing how an exalted devotee like Bali Maharaj was living in the lower planetary system and how he lost his kingdom. So this is the background of this chapter. And then in this verse 23, we see that when the Supreme Person of Godhead could see no other means of taking everything away from Bali Maharaj, he adopted the trick of begging from him and took away all three worlds. Thus only his body was left, but the Lord was still not satisfied. He arrested Bali Maharaj, bound him with a rope of Varuna, and threw him in a cave in a mountain. Nevertheless, although all his property was taken and he was thrown into a cave, Bali Maharaj was a great devotee that was such a great devotee that he spoke as follows. I think all of you are pretty familiar how this pastime of Bali Maharaj losing all his opulence by the trick of Vamandev. But let me recap a little bit. In the 8th canto described this, how this happened. I just want to recap so we get everything in very proper perspective. There's a big battle between the demons and the Devatas. The demons wanted to capture Indra, Indra's kingdom, the heavenly planets, and there was a huge warfare going on. And Indra was so powerful that he killed Bali Maharaj. But Bali Maharaj's spiritual master Sukracharya had this mantra. He could revive dead bodies. So he revived this Bali Maharaj and all the soldiers who were slain by Indra and his warriors. And then Bali Maharaj was a bit devastated for losing this battle. Then on the instruction of his spiritual master Sukracharya, he had this big yajna. It's called Vijay Vritti Yajna or something like this. One second. Vijay Yajna. So by that, he obtained amazing weapons and paraphernalia to defeat Indra. And then again, Bali Maharaj attacked Indra Indra, and then he took away Indra's kingdom. So Bali Maharaj started residing in the heavenly planets, which was occupied by Indra and the demigods. So when this happened, Indra's mother, Aditi, became very morose. So she approached her husband, Kashyap Muni, to do something so that the demigods headed by Indra could regain their heavenly planets. And although Kashyap Muni explained to her the futility of material life, she was, as a mother, she was very, very adamant. She wanted Indra to reoccupy heavenly planets. So Kashyap Muni then told her the secret of one vrata, Vayo vrata. This is the vrata done for 12 days in a very strict manner. He said to his wife, if you do this and you can please the Supreme Personal God, Lord Vishnu, then he can help you for you to for your sons to get back the heavenly planets. So she did this, and Lord Vishnu appeared in his forearm form, and Aditi asked for benediction that she should have a son like Lord Vishnu himself, and to get back the kingdom lost by Indra. Then Lord Vishnu said, no, you cannot have a son like me. You can only have me as a son, because then Lord Vishnu became Vamandev. And here we see that Bali Maharaj is doing a big yajna, and then Vamandev enters the yajna and to get back the kingdom lost by Indra. So it is mentioned in the 8th canto when Vamandev entered the Yagnashala. He was so effulgent just by his beauty. He was also a young boy, brahmachari, clad in deerskin, carrying an umbrella and kamandalu, but he was extremely bright. He was very, very attractive. So when the yajna was going on, Bali Maharaj saw him coming, and he was just amazed, was taken awestruck by his beauty and effulgence. In his heart, he wanted to give some charity to this young brahmachari. Bali Maharaj was very charitable. So during yajna, he would give so many gifts and paraphernalia to the Brahmins and also the other general populace. But we saw Bali Maharaj entering. In his heart, he wanted to give everything. So after the yajna, Bali Maharaj asked brahmachari, like Lord Vamandev, in the guise of a young brahmachari, to ask for the benediction. And here we see that Lord Vaman said, I only need 3 steps of land, 3 paces of land. So Bali Maharaj was very amazed. They say, and Brahmaji got such a small stature. What's 3 steps land going to do for him? Then Bali Maharaj said, look, I can give you anything. You are mistaken. I got this opulence. Please ask for something more valuable. But Bali Maharaj, Vamani said, no, I am okay with three paces. So Bali Maharaj said, no, I can bring my biggest demon. He's huge. He can measure 3 steps for you, 3 paces of length for you, and you can take whatever it is big, the 3 steps taken by his demon. But again, Vamana declined. And then when this conversation was going on, Bali Maharaj, spiritual master, intervened. He said, he told Bali Maharaj, look, this is a trick by Lord Vishnu. He's come in the guise of this young brahmachari, and he's going to take everything of your opulence, all your land, all your paraphernalia, all the 3 worlds. He's going to take it away. So please don't do this. But in spite of the instruction by his spiritual master, Bali Maharaj did not listen to him. He said, Lord Vishnu has come. I'll be very honored to give some charity. So he took the command and then given his promise to give the 3 paces of land to Lord Vamandev. So Lord Vamandev here is mentioned that he measured by these 2 paces. He conquered all the 14 worlds, 3 worlds, and there was no place, no time, or no place to put his 3rd step. So then Bali Maharaj surrendered and said, look, everything is taken, now you've taken everything by 2 steps. Please put your foot on my head and accept me as your surrendered soul. So then Vamandev did that. He bound him with a rope of Varuna and then put him in a cave. So what an amazing incident. So let us discuss this bit in more detail. Here we have Bali Maharaj, very, very opulent. He's in charge of 3 worlds. Huge opulence. Army, people, what you want, he's got it. He's in charge of 3 worlds. And suddenly he is willing to give everything up. Extreme surrender. And without any remorse or any regret. This is one of the amazing part, that just to please the Lord, at this time he knew it was Lord Vamandev, was Lord Vishnu, because Shukracharya only told him, he just gives everything away and he pleases the Lord. In spite of this, Vamandev is still not happy, and he binds him up and puts him in the cave. Just imagine, this is like most humiliating thing. You're a big king, and here somebody, a young brahmachari, comes and not only take away all his opulence, his palace, his gold, his army, whatever his treasures, everything is gone. And he himself become like a beggar. He's also been captured. And then he's not in any form of regretting on a remorse form or morose. He just accepts it as it is. So this really pleases Lord Vishnu. Then in a very provoking way, although he humiliated him by binding him in the rope of Varuna and threw him in a cave, Bali Maharaj is not sort of reacting negatively. He's taking as his good fortune. So this is that's the crux of this verse, that in spite of all this troublesome negative, what can we accept as negative fortune, losing all the fortune, but he is still very, very equipoised, and he takes this as his great fortune. So we see in the verse Prabhupada explained, that's one who has implicit faith in the Guru and the Lord. All the imports of the Vedas are automatically revealed to him in the heart. So also in this verse in Bhagavad Gita, I think it's 4, 34. Tad vidhi pranipatena, pranipastan sevya, upadayis jnanam, jnanas tatra darshana. The one has to approach a spiritual master, and the service to him put submissively inquire from him. And when the spiritual master is very happy, he will bless the disciple with tattva darshana, with the imperishable knowledge of the absolute truth. And in this purpose, Srila Prabhupada gives a very important, in the purpose, Srila Prabhupada says in this verse, one must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master, because here it means Supreme Personal God, is Lord Sri Krishna. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine understanding, which is Jiva Sarva Krishna Nityadas. So this is a test. He says one must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. Here we can see Bali Maharaj is given a huge test by Lord Vamadev himself. If he passes it, then Lord Vamadev becomes very, very happy, and he blesses him in so many things which we'll discuss later on. So this is a test. Somebody comes and even in a provocative situation, and when you lose all your fortune, you can still be equipoised and regard as great fortune. So when that happens, the spiritual master became very happy, and not only become happy, and then the spiritual master blesses with the transcendental knowledge in the heart, because all the spiritual knowledge is given by the grace of the spiritual master. So this is a test. Here we can see Bali Maharaj passed this test with flying colors. He never showed any remorse. Although he's humiliated, he doesn't regret, he doesn't feel remorse, but he's jubilant. So this is the test. Just by this action, all this humiliated, he's lost, and he went against the dictate of his spiritual master. He accepted, and then Lord Vamadev becomes extremely happy that yes, Bali Maharaj has passed this test. So in this we see that the Lord is acting in like a dubious way. He says, taking everything from Bali Maharaj, he adopted the trick of begging from him. Why would the Lord beg from? He's got everything. But just to glorify Bali Maharaj, he did this. So there's been difference between begging and by cheating. That there are two things: cheating and tricking. So we can see when somebody gets something by illegal means, obtains something like a fraud or a scam, that's called cheating. But when somebody uses the intelligence, and it's not illegal, to obtain something valuable, exams, that can be taken as a trick, because trick is not illegal. It's just some shortcut to achieve the final goal, but which should not be very conventional. So here we see Lord Vamadev doing this unconventional thing of begging 3 pieces of land and tricking Bali Maharaj to give everything back to him. So we see in the Mahabharata too, like Sakuni was a big cheat. And we know from text 1036 in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is the cheater of the cheaters. We cannot cheat Krishna. So here when you're reading Srila Prabhupada this morning, we see that Mr. N is trying to cheat Prabhupada in ISKCON of 3 lakhs that was deposited, and then 6 lakh that was given as a tax beforehand, before the agreement was being made. So then Prabhupada, being very intelligent, he is a representative of Krishna, he actually cheated Mr. N and got back the land, Juhu land, for ISKCON. This is amazing how Prabhupada, by his intelligence given by Lord Krishna, overmaneuvered Mr. N, who has been cheating so many other previous prospective land buyers by his this cheating propensity. So this cheating propensity is overcome by the Lord's representative, and this really received Prabhupada doing this in the rhythm that we just read. So we see that he's been tricked and giving away everything, and then the land is given back to Indra. In the next verse, 24 is just also amazing, very amazing, as I described. In spite of losing everything, Bali is start reflecting how fortunate he was in comparison to Indra. Indra is in the Parvati mark. In Parvati mark, we know is the enjoyment path, which is really very much sort of fits into Indra's mood to get something for self-enjoyment. But the Nivritti mark is part of a renunciation to get a higher goal. So there are two contrasts. Here, Indra is through his mother trying to get back the kingdom he lost. So although Vamandev is considered his younger brother, and this is because he was born, he appeared from womb of Aditi, who is also the mother of the demigods. So the Lord appeared in his family, and the Lord Vamandev, Indra's brother, he could have asked all these things for devotional service, but he was so enamored by material opulence that he wanted to get it back. This is big misfortune. So here in this verse, so verse 24, we see that Vamandev, Bali Maharaj is reflecting, comparing how unintelligent was Indra, and he's also his preceptor and his prime minister, Brihaspati. They are very, very knowledgeable. They have advanced knowledge, but they were not intelligent enough to ask for the most valuable goal, benediction, the service of the Lord. But Bali Maharaj was not that knowledgeable, and his spiritual master was also not that knowledgeable. By the mercy of the Lord, he could understand and ask for the benediction for serving the Lord. So this is a big contrast in these two personalities, Lord Indra and Bali Maharaj. So Bali Maharaj is following the path of Nivritti mark, renunciation, and for higher spiritual goals, while Indra, who's already opulent, Indravati is very, very opulent. You cannot imagine the standard of opulence of his kingdom, but he is too attached to material opulence, and so he's doing Praviti mark, trying to enjoy at the same time some service to the Lord. So there's two marks and two diametrically opposite paths is taken by these two personalities, and here this is very much reflected in this verse contrast. And so one other thing that really stands out in this verse is that although Bali Maharaj is undergoing some humility experience, but we see the Lord is trying to glorify him. He's taking it the backstage. He says, so Bali Maharaj is the hero of this chapter rather than the Lord himself. Vamandev did amazing things, but Lord wanted to glorify his devotee, how surrendered they are. And he's a prime example of what this Atmanivedan, or surrendering to the Lord, what it looks like. And he's giving this prime example. So he's glorifying. Eventually, the Lord became so happy with his surrender that he gave back his kingdom. And he became the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj in the Sutala planet. So Bali Maharaj did not lose anything, but he gained his loving service to the Lord. Although the Lord gave back his opulence, but although he gained this huge service, huge opulence of serving the Lord. while Indra he only got his material kingdom back. So, so Lord like to glorify his devotees. See in the Bhagavad Gita too, when Arjuna Maharaj became very despondent in the beginning of the beginning of the Kurukshetra war, the Lord, by giving this tons of knowledge, Arjuna became back to his senses and started serving the Lord in the mood the Lord wanted. And the Lord became his charioteer. So just amazing. Here the Lord became doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj, and there you see the Lord serve Arjuna Maharaj as his charioteer. So the Lord like to glorify his devotee. He likes to keep in the background. So this is just amazing. Also, when the Lord appeared in the arena of Bali Maharaj, when he did the yajna, the Lord was very effulgent. He just captured Bali Maharaj's heart by his youthful effulgence and his demeanor of approaching of a young Brahmin brahmachari. And just by his presence and his effulgence, Bali Maharaj got captured. Excuse me. So Lord uses this energy in different ways to get to achieve his goals. We see also in Chaitanya Charitamrita when Lord Chaitanya was touring Varanasi, and the Mayavadis were really criticizing, oh, these devotees are just chanting and they are mundane, they are very sentimentalist, and they should be studying the Vedas. So Lord approached Prakashananda in his ashram, and Lord took up a very lowly position. He sat outside ashram in a dirty place where they washed the devotees washed their feet. And when Prakashananda saw him, he was so effulgent. He immediately came, get hold of Lord Chaitanya's hand, and asked him to come and take a very high seat amongst the assembly. Just by Lord Chaitanya's effulgence, he captured Prakashananda and his mood changed. And eventually, Prakashananda is, as Mayavadi sannyasi, became devotees. So this is the trick sometimes Lord plays to make sure he bestows mercy on people who are not very conducive to serving the Lord in a devotional service. This also happened in Ramayana, which is Ramanami is coming, is on Friday, 27th. We see when the Lord was Lord Ramachandra with his brother Lakshman and Sita in the forest. After 10 years, they were approached. The lady Surpanka came, and Lakshman cut off her ear and nose, and she was very angry. So she sent her brother Kar and Dusasan to eliminate Lord Ramchandra. So when it's mentioned Ramayana, when Kar and Dusasan approached Lord Ramchandra, they were amazed by the Lord's beauty and effulgence. And they were saying, oh, why don't we capture him alive and take him back? We have darshan every day. And they were just about to do that, to become very humble, not to give a fight. Then Lord Ramchandra provoked them. He said, you are like dogs and I'm like the lion. When the lion comes, the dogs should run away. And just by his militant words, Kar and the Sasan became very angry and they gave a fight. And of course, they were eliminated. But the Lord wanted them to eliminate it. So, but by effulgence, he was about to capture Kar and the Sasan. But this didn't. The Lord had another plan. So this Lord is amazing because he's employing different energies to capture devotees in different circumstances to achieve his goal. So what was so let's recap a little bit what we discussed today. We see in this verse that Lord Vaman, Bali Maharaj, who is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, lost everything. In spite of losing everything, he was not rebellious. He didn't become morose, but he became very happy to lose his good fortune in the service of Lord Vamandev. So the main points of these two verses is that when there is unmotivated surrender, one obtains Krishna's grace. Similarly, one this unmotivated surrender and service to the spiritual master, the spiritual master became very, very happy and imparted his transcendental knowledge in the heart of the disciple. This is the crux. To obtain the grace of the Lord or the spiritual master, one has to have unmotivated surrender. There was no, in this respect, we see Bali Maharaj did not surrender to get some material benefits. It's okay, I'll do this and the Lord will give me this. There was no like business transaction. It's not transactional. It is just unmotivated surrender. Atman Vedam. So this verse is very, very important. How one should surrender without any expectation, and one should be very happy to achieve whatever the Lord wants us. So just by unmotivated surrender, Atman Vedam, Bali Maharaj got the grace of Krishna and eventually got his material opulence back. And after a very, very long time, he got the love of God. He went back to Godhead. And we see that in both cases, Arjuna Maharaj and Bali Maharaj, by their humility, the Lord was won over, and the Lord became Bali Maharaj's doorkeeper. It's amazing. So although Lord Vamandev was humiliated in that way, eventually to reciprocate, he became his doorkeeper. Just amazing how the Lord want to glorify his devotees. So in this way, devotional service is eternal, blissful, and can never be compared to material opulence. So we see contrast Indra's motive of getting back his kingdom through his mother Aditi, and this Bali Maharaj giving up everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. So there's no comparison of devotional service, the boon of getting devotional service to getting material. There's no comparison. In this verse, we can see that materially motivated gurus like Sukracharya, although they are very advanced, even Brihaspati is the guru of the demigods, is very, very advanced in knowledge. Very, if they do not know the Nivritti mark, can be rejected as mentors. Sukracharya wanted Sukracharya wanted Bali Maharaj not to give this promise because he said, "Oh, you're going to lose everything." But the higher knowledge, higher goal is to please the Supreme Lord. So this nivritima renunciation to achieve the transcendental service to the Lord. So in this case, we see that Bali Maharaj rejected his mentor Sukracharya. So these two verses are very, very important. It's like a crux of this chapter, subterranean heavenly planets. Although before it's mentioning how this subterranean planets, the Atala, Patala, and then the Sutala, where Lord Bali Maharaj is residing, have very great opulence, bigger than Indra, but there's no sun. And finally, it's been devastated by the Kala Chakra, the time. And how Lord became very merciful to Bali Maharaj because of his Atmaniveda, his surrender. So the point is, the get any blessing from the Lord, one has to give up everything. And we know from the end of chapter 18 Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharma Pariktaja Mamayakam Saranvaja, that anything religious, one wants to achieve the grace of the Lord, he has to give everything up, just surrender completely. And this incident today we are reading of Bali Maharaj is an example of how this is done practically. How this is, we may know theoretically one has to surrender, but here we see Bali Maharaj giving unequal example of surrender, Atmanivedana. So we can get motivated, we can get inspired to follow in some way, although we might not reach that standard of surrender, but it gives us a motivation, inspiration to aim for that high goal, just by these two verses, by this example of Bali Maharaj. So we'll end here. Thank you very much for listening to this amazing pastime of Bali Maharaj and Vamandev and his comparison of Indra. So I'll end here. Thank you again. And anybody any comments or reflections to share, more than welcome. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavata Pranam. Thank you very much. Explaining the verse and particularly the background of Bali Maharaj and the story of that to make the things very interesting for those who doesn't know, but also hearing again Bali Maharaj's past thing. And here Bali Maharaj is a great example of, as Prahlad Maharaj has stated, Sravanam Kirtanam, with the last one, the process of devotional service, the last one is Atmanivedanam. And Bali Maharaj is a great example of that. And we see that when a person surrenders, the same, our Bhaktivinoda Thakur has also taken, there is a verse in Bengali, with total surrender, he also says, Manosho deho geho jaha kichu mor, tua pode samor pelu nando kisho. Whatever I have got, mind, body, and my family, everything, I have given it to you. And so for a materialistic person, it seems to be a misnomer because they do not understand that if one surrenders, I mean, he is losing everything. But here, to a devotee, we see that when one surrenders to the Lord really takes care of him. So whatever one can achieve by his own endeavor or in a material condition, the Lord, when Lord protects it, it is always superior. And in fact, as you have also mentioned, the Lord glorifies his devotees. There is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which says this, which highlights this character of the Lord, where it says that ঈশ্বর স্বভাবেই ভক্তের নালয় অপরাধ অল্প সেবা বহু মানে আত্ম পর্যন্ত প্রসাদ. That means the characteristics of the Lord, the Supreme Lord, is that he never sees the wrong part of his devotee. He always see whatever he has received from his devotee, he always makes it great, considers it great, and finally at one time he gives himself to the Lord. That's why it is devotee knows that Lord becomes a devotee becomes a servant of his devotees. That is the beauty of the Lord. So, and Bali Maharaj's story and the example has highlighted all this in a very nutshell, and you have very nicely explained this. So, thank you very much, Prabhu, for making this point very clear to us. Hearing the Lord's glories is always a great pleasure, and you have made it possible for us. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much sharing your comment and more like a summary of Vaishnava Guru. Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavata Pranam.
Dandavata Prabhu.
Thank you once again, like, for a wonderful class. Like, we are hearing you after a long time, so it's so nice to have your class after such a long time. Thank you for that, and especially liked your point about the difference between tricking and cheating. So I never knew that. So thank you for sharing that, Prabhu. So normally, whenever we don't get what we want, then we say, oh, Krishna has cheated me, Krishna has not given this, but actually he has only tricked, he has not cheated. So thank you for sharing that point. And Prabhu, just wanted to ask, like this Mahajanas, no, that like Bali Maharaj and all these great devotees. So are they, just to clarify, are they like eternal associates of the Lord from Vaikunta and Goloka, or or do they also go to the process of this starting from Shraddha, then Bhajana Kriya and Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, like that? Do they go through that process? Like persons like Bali Maharaj and these other great devotees. Just wanted to have your understanding, because in the previous we see that in the previous thing, when they were fighting over that nectar, no nectar, the churning of the ocean. At that time, we find that they have not described Bali Maharaj as devotional qualities so much there in that canto. So I just want to understand, like, do they also go through the process of this or Shraddha like that, and otherwise are they eternal associates? Yeah.
Thank you for that question, bro. But I'm not well versed in the background of Bali Maharaj. He became a great devotee. Only we know from the incident of Vamandev, which is described in Canto 8. But we know his father is Virochan, and he's his grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj mentioned one of the benedictions he got his 21 generation before and after will be liberated. They'll go back to Godhead. But this took some time. But whether Bali Maharaj is an eternal associate of the Lord himself, or he came through this this process, ninth process of bhakti, don't have a clear understanding of this. So sorry, Prabhu, I had to check and let you. We can discuss a bit later on. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, there's no more comments. We'll end here. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vanchakalpadrubhesya.
Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namo
Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai.
His Grace Nanda Vraja Prabhu
Ki
ki
jai.
jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.